Hello, my name is Kenneth Young, and this is a presentation for Professor Christensen's Accounting Ethics class. And this presentation is about the Giving Voice to Values section of the book. So, first off, what Giving Voice to Values is it's a framework set up and spelled out that you can follow when you're confronting difficult moral situations. And following this framework should help you in being able to not only make your values known to other people, but in the end getting them to act in the way that you would morally. That's the end purpose of giving voice to values in the framework. So uh, giving voice to values isn't necessarily the moral decision making process. uh, this comes after you've decided to act and after you've decided what's right and what's wrong, and when you've seen something, at work or wherever it may be, that needs rectifying or changing as far as morals go. So this is just a framework of once you've made that decision to act or to confront somebody or whatever it may be, this is how you should go about making a script or deciding what you need to do or say in order to get your point across and to really voice your values in the workplace. So the case that I did was called "Doing Good by Being Good," and it's about an accounting club at wherever university that collected donations to benefit hurricane survivors. Um, so really quickly, the facts of the case are the accounting club gathered donations, and they were going to use these donations to purchase gift cards to distribute to survivors. So they did, and they gathered about $20,000. And then when they distributed these cards, it was noticed that there was about $400 that was unaccounted for. So obviously the suspicion arises that the $400 might have been misappropriated or stolen or whatever. But uh, the the person in charge of distributing the money and the gift cards and purchasing them also was heard discussing a $400 trip that they're going to take later with someone named, he was speaking with someone named David. And so uh, that arises even more suspicions. And so Becca, who this story is about, has decided that she needs to talk to this person, Matt, about what's going on, and she thinks that it might be inappropriate. So applying the Giving Voice to Values framework, there are 4 questions that you need to ask yourself before you make a plan to talk to somebody. So the first one is, what are the main arguments that you're trying to get over, that someone might, raise or bring up that justifies or rationalizes their actions. So assuming that Matt actually took that money and didn't distribute it, as might have been better. Um, you have to think about what his objections might be. So in the story, he says, "Well, don't you trust me?" And that's a pretty common one, that you should just trust people. So that is one that you need to consider. Matt is going to work at a Big Four firm later, so he needs to, uh, you know, he might say that, well, my reputation's on the line. I need to have a good reputation when I go into this firm, so I can have progression and not get fired. Really, he could say that $400 isn't a big deal. It's not material. You don't need to worry about it. And finally, that even if he did do it, it's just this one time, not going to happen again. So you need to think about those things when you confront somebody. You need to think about all the people that are affected. So obviously Matt, his reputation could be affected, and if you get kicked out of the accounting club, might not look good at your next job or getting hired at all. You need to think about Becca's reputation. If the accounting club that she's a part of is seen as misappropriating money, then her accounting, credibility might decline if people found that out. And then, of course, the accounting club itself, its reputation, and the hurricane victims. I mean, if they're not getting the money that was collected for them, that's not good either. Next question is, what can you do and what levers can you use to influence people's actions and decision making? So, this is how you get people to act the way that you want. So you can bring up with Matt his reputation. If you did take this and if you don't rectify it, and it comes out, you're going to have problems getting jobs and just living with yourself, really. Um, you can, I don't know if threaten's the right word, but you can bring up the fact that you can expose this, and you can uh, create a further investigation, like going to the faculty or others, maybe directors for the accounting club, and that can leverage Matt into doing the right thing that you want, uh, basically scaring him. It was mentioned that Matt had spoken with David about this trip he was going on, so Becca could get with David and use power of numbers really to scare him into doing the right thing. The most powerful thing I think she can do though is to just confront him about the right thing to do, and show that if indeed he did take the money, that he can rectify it, and that his reputation is more important than the $400 trip. So the Giving Voice to Values framework is a good way to prepare yourself for interacting with people that might be uncomfortable, and it helps you be prepared, and in that way you won't be as scared. So using it in business and in other situations is a good way to go about it.